I see. CJ said, you can tell I hate my life because I'm back to watch more of this game breakdown. I understand, CJ. We all, we all like pain a little bit. Look, CJ, I appreciate that. I appreciate you joining me early. Lake Dawes will turn around his head. Hey, y'all, look. I am extremely humbled. I got a lot of followers today. I don't know what happened. I'm not gonna ask questions. I don't ask God why. I just take the blessings as I get them. So, since there are a lot of new followers, what's up, Jorge? Jorge, don't come with that bullshit tonight. Don't come with having the back of your old lineman tonight and all these. Since last year you didn't have it, so don't come here flipping the script and putting on those flip flops. I'm just saying. So for the new listeners, there are some regulars, so there might be some inside jokes that you ladies and gents don't understand. But I want y'all to understand this. This is not a highly produced production. Shit happens on my end. Sometimes my laptop goes down and we have to rebroadcast. Sometimes the internet is bad. So understand, this is not a well-ran machine. This is held together by some gum and some duct tape and some KT tape. So this is how this is ran. The reason I started this for the newbies is to help fans understand what possibly could be happening. Because don't listen to me. I'm not 100% correct. I'm not in the installation room when they install the offense and defense. I'm not even in damn Lexington. So I'm not even able to see practices. All I know is I know football. And it's like there's only so many things you can do with football. Like, even if you run, look, in my opinion, Jorge can correct me if I'm wrong. All offenses are kind of based off of wing T. Everyone. Buck sweep is ran by every team. Every team. Counter is ran by every team. Power, ISO. You can run power and ISO from one back with a tight end. Like, all this stuff. These are old school terms that are still prevalent in today's offense. Some people just call it different things, but it's still the fundamentals of football. Counter, GT counter. You can do counter with a tight end. You can do power. You can do power with a wing back or an H back, as they call them now. Like, all this stuff is basic. So I'm not saying what I'm saying is the Bible. I just know what I see and I try to interpret. So I'm not always right. Second thing is, this is a show that is, we're at kind of like the bar and we just talking football. I don't have a script. I don't write shit down. We just riffing it as we go. So I want y'all to understand, don't come here, you newbies, thinking that this is going to be some smooth riding ship with great graphics and this and that. It's not. This is this off the cuff, just things that I do in my office. So if you're looking for, I know I've seen stuff. There's a guy in Florida that does some nice production things. I ain't got the time. I have a job. I'm an engineer by career, and I have to work during the day. Then I go I coach high school football and track now, so I'm definitely not going crazy production. So I want to have y'all understand that before I go into my monologue. So most people, I usually get into a little rant, and before I get into talking about the game. So usually, if you really hear just to watch the breakdown, you probably can pause or come back in about 10 minutes. Just FYI. So, look, man. Oh, you know what? It's kind of weird. I really wish that we didn't have the talent, and South Carolina had the talent, and South Carolina just came in here and just put their will on us. That wasn't what this game was, and it's frustrating to the nth degree because of that. Liam said, I just want to say this. Liam called plays that were clever and intelligent and helped put us in. This OC does not do that, at least so far with 100. Yeah, Jorge, I'm going to tell you this. Damn. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm going to lose my fantasy first game because this guy has San Francisco and they got another interception, so I'm done. All right. So I would say this. It's twofold to me. And it's interesting because Bush has played in the SEC before. He knows that shit ain't going to work. But is he running it for a reason? I'm not sure. It seems like I don't have problem with jet sweep in certain situations. But the jet sweep in 2nd and 1 is not a good call, in my opinion. And it's obvious that, to me, hindsight is 20/20. But when your O-line is Jorge is an ex-O-lineman. As he said, the O-line was not bad in the first half. I don't think the O-line played poorly the entire game. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they were juggernauts. I'm not saying they imposed their will on South Carolina. I don't think they played as poorly as some people think. I'll say this. I'm not going to put anybody else on it. I don't think they played as poorly as I thought as I was watching the game. As I step back, watch the film, I don't think they played poorly. So I don't think we lost because of the O-line. We didn't win because of the O-line, but I don't think we lost solely because of the O-line. I think we lost for many reasons. I don't think Brock had his best game. I think there's some issues with Brock. Someone said yesterday that it's injuries. Right, Jorge. Damn, somebody roll up on Mincy. But you can't, Jorge, but we can't talk about injuries, though. That happens to everybody. But yes, you're right. We had injuries on the O-line. As a whole, I'm not going to give them probably more than a C-, but a C- is not that bad. That's just a little bit below average. That's not a D-. I give them a C-. Their pass blocking was horrible at times, but also the pass blocking is more than just them. We had tight ends missing blocks, which then comes back to me. That's an OC issue. Why would you put a tight end on an OC? I mean, on a great defensive end. And then sometimes we had 2 or 3 guys blocking the DN and didn't get shit done. So now is that on the OC or that's on the players? If I'm going to dedicate 2 guys to him and y'all can't get them blocked, what else the hell can I do as an OC? Another thing, like on the screen pass, you don't have Stevens Brown be the lead blocker. You just don't. Jorge, because look, Jorge, you know this. Jorge, you know the the three positions. Sans the quarterback. Let's not call the quarterback. The positions that get blamed the most are the DBs and the O linemen. And the reason why it's easy to criticize DBs and O linemen because you know when they fuck up. It's obvious. Someone gets a sack. Someone gets a TFL. Someone scores a touchdown. Like, it's obvious when those two groups fuck up. It's not obvious when the linebackers fuck up. It's not obvious when the tight end fuck up. It's not obvious when the running back fuck up. Because on that 3rd and down one, when we easily had a first down, the complaint should have been towards DSK. What's up, Thad Carp? Hey, man, look, y'all. I appreciate you, Thad, watching on Instagram. You know, that's big, man. Thank you, brother. I played with that. That is an ex-teammate. It is sad that it happens like that, but as a whole, the O-line played well. Look how many rushing yards they had. Now, the yards per carry wasn't good, but some of that's because of the damn sacks. CJ, I'm not sure about Burton. I don't know what his grade was. I'm not a PFF fan, so I don't really look at those scores. But no one on the O-line was infallible. I mean, they all had mistakes. But like Jorge said, people are talking about them like they were the reason why we lost. I'm going to say this again, as I said yesterday, right? Yes, last night. The quarterback is part of the protection. The quarterbacks can help the O-line. The quarterbacks can help the O-line. It's simple as that. You can't put it all on the O-line. The quarterback can step in the pocket. Quarterbacks got to get rid of the ball. The receivers got to run crisp routes. When you know that the opponent has a damn good defense and a damn good front four, you need to take that into account. So, with that said, the game is frustrating because we just beat ourselves. We continually beat ourselves. And that is a good and bad. Now, the bad part about it is we're playing the best team in the conference. We can't lick our wounds because they coming for our ass. That's the bad part about it. The good part about it is we're playing the best team. So these players should be able to get themselves up and going because you don't want to be embarrassed again at home. This is getting old. We can't get embarrassed at home. CJ said South Carolina had 6 plays combined for 150 yards, meaning 44 plays went for 102 yards. That's what I asked yesterday. South Carolina had 252 yards total in the game. We had more than that in 2 quarters and a little bit last week. South Carolina had 86 yards rushing, 2.5 yards a carry. And they only had, I think, minus 9 yards or 8 yards combined. So it wasn't like we had a lot of sacks and we was killing with the sack yards. They only had minus, I think, 8, something like that. So they still only averaged still less than 3 yards without the negative yards. And some of those were TFL. So I think the quarterback had minus 4. So come on. That team balled out. That secondary had problems. Not the whole game, but in key situations, the secondary just didn't get the job done. And it's unfortunate when you have a front that's playing like they're playing and you can't do your job on the back half. That's frustrating. And I know as a defensive lineman, I would be pissed. But somebody said that Coach Stoops said that the players play hard. They did play hard, man. I don't think the one thing Coach told us when I was young, the 2 things you can control as a player is effort and attitude. And they gave effort. Now, effort doesn't always mean you're in the right spot. You're doing the right thing all the time, but you're giving effort. Hopefully, sometimes that effort can lead you to be in the wrong spot, but since you're giving effort, positive things can happen. That didn't happen for us, unfortunately. But those guys did play hard. They played hard all the way to the end. I mean, you had Steven Souls get a sack and celebrated like it was a Super Bowl. So it wasn't like they weren't playing hard. They were straining. It's just key downs, key situations. South Carolina played better than us. Like CJ said, 6 plays for 150 yards. We gave up too many big plays on defense. And it wasn't on the runs because I think they only had 3 runs over 10 yards. It's hard to swallow. It's frustrating. It's disappointing. It's embarrassing to a point because we fucking losing these games at home. It's embarrassing. It's deflating. But let's flush it. And let's start next week with new eyes and with renewed vigor for us to play a good game against Georgia. I don't think anybody is expecting us to win, but I expect us to put a better product on the field on Saturday night than we did on Saturday afternoon a few days ago. That's all I'm saying. That's as a fan, as a former teammate, as someone who didn't win a lot of games when I was here. Let's just put together a solid effort. Jorge, I'm not totally sold on the new game plan. I'm really not. I understand what you're saying. And here's the other thing, fans, that y'all can understand. And Jorge can back this up too. Is your playbook is only as big as the players can digest and handle. Your playbook can be 500 pages, but if your players can only execute in practice 50, you got to do the 50. That's it. There's no other. You cannot force feed them to do something that they are incapable of executing in practice. If you can't execute in practice against a scout team, you damn sure can't execute it on Saturdays against an SEC team. It just ain't gonna happen. So sometimes you have to scrap plays and say, all right, y'all don't get it. All right, these 10 plays we just can't run because y'all can't execute them in practice. But that's just the name of the game. Jorge, I'm serious, dude. I'm not going to talk offensively as much because I know offense, but I don't know offense. I only know high school offense. I know you want to talk about offense all the way up to high school. I can talk about that. College offense is a little bit different. So I'm not so sure. But I know on defense when I was in college, there was some shit that we just couldn't run. There was coverages that when I was younger that we just couldn't run. Plain and simple. When I got to be a senior, when everybody in the defensive secondary played in a system for 3+ years, we could expand the damn playbook. We ran almost every coverage that we had because we had guys in the back half that knew all the foundational coverages. So if we want to run some exotic, we could run it. But we couldn't run in my first year. Like I keep saying, like I say, and that doesn't necessarily make you better. When we played Florida at home in 1993, we ran 2 zone coverages. And we had 6 picks in the game. We ran 2 blitzes or 1. I think we had 1 or 2 blitzes and 2 coverages. The great thing about one of those coverages is that one coverage could morph into a whole lot of different coverages because we ran 2 read. But it wasn't exotic. But as Coach Archer said, I want y'all to play fast. So we're gonna play the coverages that allow y'all to play fast. We're not gonna flood your brain with additional information. We're just gonna do that. That said, back to your earlier point on play calling, you got something. Look, man, I'm just being real, y'all. It's unfortunate that you can't call your whole playbook, but that's where you are. You're dealing with 18 17 to 24, 23-year-olds, it is what it is. If they can only run a quarter of your playbook, you just got to get creative with your play calling with a quarter of the playbook. That's just life, man. When you're at your job, you don't make the guy who can only make coffee try to cook and make donuts. All right. So we've been talking for a while. If anybody, look, this is the other thing. This is an open forum. Ask any question. I think on Twitter you can ask questions now because at one time you couldn't. On YouTube you can ask questions. The other thing, I only say this once. There's someone told me to do this a long time ago. I'm not pressed for it, but if you feel it in your heart to bless me with funds, that's a Cash App thing in the bottom left-hand corner. Also, interact with me. Obviously I like talking. So ask me questions. I will address them. Posse asks, as a former player, do you think there's something causing our bad performance at home? All right, Posse. Now here's the deal, right? There are some games at home that you just not going to win. Unfortunately, I don't like saying that as a former player, but now as a fan outside of it, we're highly likely not going to beat Georgia. So we play a home game against Georgia, we're probably going to lose. Tennessee just has our number, and they had our number for years. You play Tennessee at home, we're probably not going to like that. We're probably not going to win that game. So then let's say you play Alabama at home. Unfortunately, you're probably not going to be Alabama. A lot of these home games are against tough teams. Now, some of the home games that we have lost recently, I totally understand. It's just some things have been injuries. Some things have been, I'm going to say this. It's hard, y'all, to just plug in a portal quarterback. It's hard. So that's one issue, trying to put in a portal quarterback. Some of his execution, it's just the luck of the draw. Winning in this conference, we have. When the last time we lost to a non-conference game besides the Louisville at home? Southern Miss, was that the last game? We probably should have lost to Chattanooga, but we didn't. So it's just whom we playing, and for some reason we don't play well at home in these last couple of years. It's unfortunate, but I can't give you an answer, Posse. I just can't. It's weird, but some of it's opponent that we play, and some of it's just bad luck, and some of it, we just don't fucking come out and play well. All right, man. First play of the second half. They come out and no back. So for me, when I want fans to understand this, in theory, what effects does having two DCs have on communication, defensive play calling? Who are the two defensive coordinators, Brian? Please don't come on here and say Stoops is making the defensive calls. He's not. Basketball team struggling. And some of that posse is they playing tough teams too. Look, I'm going to say this. If you are referring to the communication on the helmet, that little communication on the helmet is not a defensive thing. Oh, Brian, Collins, look, let me hip you on that bullshit. Brian, have you ever worked for a company and they have levels and all of a sudden they just create another level for a particular employee? That's all they did. Coach Collins was highly sought after this offseason, so they made him a co-defensive coordinator, so therefore they can warrant paying him more money. It's kind of like Vince Morrow being a associate head coach. There's no two calling. It's just a title. That's all it is. Maybe Collins, if Brad White is open to it, have Collins help him with making a secondary call. Maybe there's some secondary game planning during the week because the secondary has to match the base call or the front call. So you just can't be playing some willy nilly coverage when the front seven is playing something else. So it's gotta be in concert with each other. Collins isn't making any calls. So first play on defense, help y'all understand. On defense, you want to have one more than they have. So right now they have 1, 2. In my opinion, we have 1, 2, 3. On this side, they have 1, 2, 3. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. You want to have one more defender than they have individuals that are going out to a route. That is just basic fundamentals of defense. Now, how you get to these matchups, that's the special sauce. So on this play, if you ask me, as I remember, I personally think D-Jack should have bumped to the trip side a little bit faster. All right. If you see it right now, the quarterback is not leaving. He's got to make sure there's no quarterback draw. That's first. So he's got to stay in the middle for a little time. But once he turned that shoulder, he should start maneuvering a little bit left a little bit. Now he's got to stay in position in case he goes and runs that he can come and make that tackle because there's no one else in the middle. That's why they go empty. But I think he could have shaded a little bit when he turned those shoulders and been a little bit closer to it. Maybe instead of a 9-yard gain, it would have been like a 6-yard gain. They're going to make their plays, man. They're on scholarship too. That was a good play. So now they got first down. Now, well, Brian, it's tough. See, this is the thing. Brian said he should have bumped late knowing the edge blitz was coming. We only rushed 4. Oh, nice. A Twitter feed is less glitchy than a YouTube. Oh, really? Huh. That's interesting to know, Jorge. It's not the running quarterback puts the defense a little bit on his heels because you don't want to drop too far. Like normally, if it's 3rd and 8, everybody would probably drop to the sticks and make everything get thrown underneath. But with this running quarterback, he can just mess. He can extend the play. He can find voids and get a first down. It's tough. So I understand why D-Jack kind of stayed where he was because what if he tucked it? He could have shaded just a little bit. He wasn't going to stop the pass. The pass the defense we call didn't match up to that play. And this other thing people don't understand. Remember this, the defense is reactive. The offense has the advantage. The offense is the dictator. If they call the perfect play for the perfect coverage or the perfect defense, you can't win. The same way how a perfect pass beats perfect coverage every time, the perfect play beats the perfect defensive call 100 times. So on that play, like for example, when you play cover 3, you're giving up the flats. There's no one there. So if they run hitches, they're going to get them. Come up and make the tackle. You run certain coverages to do certain things. You run cover 3 to get more guys in the box. So let's think about it. You got 3 deep. You technically have 8 men in the box. So you have more guys dedicated to the run. And you're not letting the offense pass deep because you got 3 guys playing deep thirds. That's the principle. So even though teams make plays, it's because they call a good play against a good defensive call. It ain't because the team sucks. It's gonna happen. All right, this shit bothers me because this is football, man. This is the rough part about football is when you do things right. So Brad White on these next two calls are going to dial up perfect calls. Perfect. But we don't get perfect results. That's just how the damn game, that's how the ball rolls sometimes. They got a closed formation. Close means there's no one out wide. So this tight end close the formation. It's like he's the end of the world right there. So it's closed. They got probably two more guys out here because they got two tight ends. So you got two guys out here split out with a wing, with an H and an inline tight end. All right. With that said, since we have 2 over 1 and it's a tight end, you can bring one of these guys because there's no one else out here to threaten zones. This is the only guy who can add to the threat. But if you bring him, he normally has to block. So normally, just for education's sake, let's say he comes, this back blocks. Sometimes he doesn't continue rush. That's his man. He man up. He holds him. So he just can't leak out, and now there's no one there. All right. So we have a much better front seven and second. Yeah. No, Posse, I'm just saying that me saying 8 in the box is just talking about just a generic cover 3 concept. Not us. We don't run too much traditional cover 3. All right. So he blitzes because of, as I said earlier, there's really nothing there, right? So he comes. That backside H tries to block him. That backside H has no chance. He's done. He's cooked. This is a great play. Get the sack, get the strip. We are batting 100% right now. That down ball falls out and on one bounce, bounces to the guy who actually had horrible technique and didn't do his job. But sometimes the ball bounces your way and he's lucky. So we don't get a turnover. They still lose 2 yards, but it's not a turnover. All right. So now we dial up a blitz then. And we're going to dial up a 6-man blitz. It is 6. We don't normally do this. This guy messed up because honestly, they have enough to block because they almost max protect. Well, I would call it max protect. So they got 7 to our 6. As he doubles here, all they had to do was fan and get that. 101, 101, 101, 101, 101. They're fine. But number 8 made a mistake. And Childress comes unblocked and makes another great play. Ball's out, y'all. This is the 30-yard line going in. Get the damn ball. This is a game-changing play. We have 2 guys that had a chance to get it, and we don't fucking get it. Y'all, this changes the game. This could change the game. Which one, Brian? Did this last one rip legs cover 3? So you just calling cover 3, you just calling the strength of the formation? This is this ain't a cover 3, this is blitz. Let's see. Do you think it's a zone blitz? I think it looks a little bit like one Rob, maybe. That's a good question. I have to see it from the end zone because I like to see their eyes and where they're looking. To me, it looks like he's looking here in man. If he was looking at a quarterback, I would say zone. But it looks like they're looking at man. He's looking at him. And I'm not sure who he's looking at. It's hard for me to say. It could be one Rob, single high robber. Um, let's see what the linebacker does. Yeah, I'm not sure because this guy's butt naked open. But great damn sack. Get the damn ball. You understand? It could be 10-9 or in another word, it could be 13-10. Damn. That close. 3rd and 34. So y'all, I want to also understand. I understand that fans, when it's 3rd and long, you only remember the bad plays, but that was 3rd and 24, and we was off the field. They were 3 for 10 in the game on 3rd down. That's damn good defense. Now, one of the conversions was 3rd and 11. One of the conversions was 3rd and 10 plus. I get it. But as a whole, this play, you see safety replaced. Yeah, Brian, I'm not sure. I'm not gonna say you're wrong. I'm not seeing technically cover 3 because I don't see the guy's eyes. This corner over here looked like he was looking at the receiver, which means he's playing man. So if that's the case, single high safety, you had a linebacker. I think you had Ty Bryant here, which means you had another corner here. Can't remember the formation. Was it 2 tight ends? It looks like this guy was looking at a man. It looks like this guy eyes on the man, not on the quarterback. That's how I determine if it's zone or man. It's eyes. In zone, all eyes should be on the quarterback. And man, all eyes should be on the receiver. Okay. This is hard for me because if I'm the running back coach, I want him to press here and get as much as he can. You run sideways, you allow people to use the athletic ability, and it's more plausible to get TFLs. All right? If you just got to get what you can get, right? As a running back. That's what I'm saying, Brian. That's what I call it, one Rob. Get what you can get. Stop doing this shit. Now, and here's the worst part about running backs that do that, right? Is you get here and you get a 30-yard run, right? I'm going to say this. In the NFL, this is funny. In the NFL, if your ass do this and get a 30-yard run, the coach on the sideline is pissed. Because they want you to press the hole and then make an adjustment. Because they don't want loss of yardage. They want to be ahead of the chains. 2nd and 8 for them is it's not a problem. So I don't know. As Jorge said, where is he going? I don't know, Jorge. I'm saying this right here. And I know it looks like the action is here. But we can go in here, at least run up Eli back and get 2 to 3 yards. What's the scenario for the offseason? We go 5 and 7-ish, man. Could you be optimistic? Look, Charlie, I'm not going to lie. I'm always positive. If we win 7 games this year, that's a pretty damn good record, apparently, for when everybody said our schedule was difficult. I think this team is still better than 5 wins. I'm gonna say this, man, and this is not just to inflate things. This team is still talented enough to win 8 games. Now that means they're gonna have to fucking improve real quick because they're not beating Georgia. I'm not so high on Ole Miss as some. I'm not sure they're gonna beat Tennessee. So now we're at 3 losses. And we lose to Texas, that's 4. That to me is your 4 losses. The South Carolina one hurts. But the season's not over. And you gotta go steal one now. South Carolina stole one from us. Now we gotta go steal one from somebody else. If we don't steal one, then we finish 7-5. That's what I see. The 4 games left to me that are the tough games is Georgia. I think that's a guaranteed loss. Ole Miss, I don't think that's a guaranteed loss. Tennessee, that's a high loss rate just in theory from just history. And then Texas. I had them at 9-2, Brian. So I don't see 9 anymore. I see 8. Possibly Vandegrift definitely has to get it together. He does. It's interesting that, as Jorge said, that the O-line is getting more of the blame than him. Not saying he's the reason why we lost, but he didn't help us win. This was a total failure, as I said, by everybody, including myself, because I was drinking the Kool-Aid big time. So I got to eat crow. CJ. You're right, CJ. Everybody's got to get it together, man. Everybody, including the receivers. So I don't know where DSK was going. This makes no sense to me. Press the hole, get as many yards as you can, especially against a good front 7. Oh, I told y'all, man, this thing can get glitchy. Hold on, y'all. My computer's failing me. Give me a second. Shoot. I really don't want to do this, but my mouse has a mind of its own. I can probably do this by hand. Let's see. Okay, now we're back in business. All right, that's DSK. Y'all, I really do need a new laptop. Old man of technology. Hey, man, technology, as I said earlier, I'm going to reboot the software. Dude, you don't know how many computers. Look, I have 2 kids. I have a kid in college. I have to make sure he's straight. He's at Rice, which, if you know anything about college institutions, that institution is not cheap. I'm paying a shit ton of money for that, although he did get a lot of scholarships, so I'm not paying full, but still paying a good amount. So software is not coming up, y'all. So yeah, that's just it. Yeah, software. As I said, I'm glad I stayed there earlier. Because the funny part about it, we've been running pretty smoothly this season with not being kicked out. But right now, looks like my software is saying it don't like me. I really don't want to have to shut down and start back over, y'all. I really don't. But honestly, I might just have to do that. Hold on, it's starting up, but it's slow and it's glitching. I wonder if is it because am I streaming too much? Do I have to end one of the streams? Because right now it is slow as molasses. I'm gonna give it another couple minutes, man. See what happens. But some reason it's stressing my laptop out. But so you know what I can do? What I can do while we try to speed things up is I let go of my boy. Ain't nothing like live TV. I'm not the only one because I heard KSR had problems last week with technology. So it happens. That's the bad part about going live is shit can happen. But I'm gonna go if I can get this whiteboard up. I'm gonna go over the route that they were running, and I thought it was you, Brian, that we got a conversation that you sent me text from one of your buddies about the coverage and how I would run it. I can't even get that up. Pause. So I hope everybody's having a good day. Ooh, let's see where we are. I don't understand why. Yes, okay, Brian. That was you, Brian. Yes. Of Jets official. What happened? They went for it on fourth down. Or are you saying the Jets are done for the season?